Okay, welcome back. Right, so the first thing we want to do is go and grab a door. So let's have a look. Let me just show you. I come to my Epic launcher. So one thing I recommend that you do if you're doing any work with Unreal, whether you're doing programming or blueprint scripting or really anything else, is to get a copy of the content examples. It's there for free. Click on that, and then all we need to do is go and create a project, and we can create it in whichever version we've got. This is Unreal Engine 5, of course. It's really, really useful. Whatever you're doing, there's a whole lot of stuff in there. We'll have a quick look right at the moment. I've got it opened up here. So this is what we get when we open it up initially. This is just the welcome level. And you can go through and have a look at that, and it sort of gives you some information. If we go to our content drawer and go to our levels. Now, one thing I will show you here, if we remove that, there's a lot of levels here, and you will notice we have these build assets, generally one kind of for every level, which makes it kind of a little bit hard and annoying to go through all the different levels because we're not seeing just levels. We can filter this here, so if I click on this and I just go level, that goes and just shows me the levels, so I can select whichever assets that I want to see then. And you'll see here we have a whole lot of stuff here. What we're interested in particular, I guess, is the blueprint stuff, but there's really a lot more in there. So you can see we've got, if we go up to here, we've got blueprints overview. We've also got advanced things like render to target, blueprint spines, bit of mouse interaction there, which is kind of interesting to see. And what you can do, if you want to work out how to do something, it's really useful to come into here and see how how they do it in here. And you can take that and you can kind of make it your own, I guess. That's what we're going to look at today, doing that. There's also blueprint communication, which is quite interesting, worth looking at. Some input examples here as well. The spline stuff is really interesting, really useful too. And let's have a look at the mouse interaction, I guess. Maybe that's actually one that I've used myself. So for instance, if you want to work out how to, do a mouse over, it's not necessarily that obvious, but if we come into here, you'll see this shows you pretty much exactly. Oh, look at that. That's the contrast going there. That's one of my things I don't like that much about the Unreal Engine, but I'm not going to go through and put in different. I've showed you how to fix this in the engine. But you can go into here and you can work out, exactly how they do this. So if I go to escape, if we want to find that out, we need to sort of come into here and then go and have a look at the spheres, what's going on here. We can sort of see what it's actually responding to. This is obviously a little advanced for beginners, so you might want to get someone who has a bit of experience first, but it's telling you really how to get that kind of effect going on in your own game. So you can come into here and play around with those. Other things, we'll just very quickly go and have this. So we've got some cascade legacy particles, chaos, some chaos stuff in there, definitely worth looking at. Obviously this is not all blueprint focused. Character rendering, cloth, the control rig, decals, if you want to use decals. Decals are really, really useful. Things like gunshots, footsteps, all that sort of stuff, decals. If you want to import an FBX, some stuff there. IK rigs, a bit more landscapes, level scripting. Oh, there you go. Level streaming, which is another perhaps more advanced thing, but I did mention before, you don't have to have multiple levels. You can just have one level and actually stream other levels in and out. So these are the streaming levels down here that it's using. So check that out for something you're interested in. Some more advanced stuff on lighting, materials as well. Material instances, material nodes, material properties. Everyone's favorite, Math Hall. This is really useful if you want to learn a little bit more about things like sort of advanced materials and things like that. It'll show you how the different nodes actually work and a little bit more on maths. Other stuff there, so you've got nav mesh, got some network features, some Niagara fluids, particles, paper 2D if you're doing some 2D stuff, some more advanced stuff, parallax occlusion mapping, physics, etc., post-process. So more than what we're going to be going over in this particular set of videos. But what we're going to look at is actually one of the advanced blueprints one actually. So let's go into this one. Because what I want is a door. Now, of course, we can go and create these things from scratch. And I guess for a lot of your projects, you may well be creating these things from scratch. But the other thing that certainly, once you get sort of out into the real world, getting existing objects and making them do what you want them to do is kind of an important skill as well. So there is a nice door in here, which we want to use a door in our game that we're using. So I'm going to grab this, in fact. Let's have a look at how it works. Just hit play. And let's run up to the other end of the thing there, ignoring all the other advanced blueprints, because the one we want is the door. That's basically it. So we come up here and bang, we go to the door, it opens up. And we go to the door and it opens up. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to take it from this project and I'm going to transfer it to my project. So of course, keep things like plagiarism in mind. You need to make sure that you are able to do that. You might be, if you go to, for instance, if you come into the content examples like this, you can grab these. But also, of course, there are. Let's just go to the game launcher. If we go to the marketplace, and I think to the store, that's where we want to go, isn't it? Just give it a sec. There are a lot of assets available that you can download. A lot of them are free. Oh, no, we've gone... sorry about that. That's actually the game store. My bad. Marketplace. Oh, back. Okay. No, marketplace. Come on. Give me the marketplace. Not the fastest browser in the world. Okay, and so we have here... showcases here. We've got various bits and pieces. Now, just be sure you check before you use any of these that whether you can use them in the project you're doing. If you're doing a project for your studies, quite often you need to use only your own assets, so keep that in mind. They tend to have ones free each month or so. You can just have already grab these. I pretty much grab anything I see worthwhile. There's also free here as well, so you can check out the free content here. You can go and grab all of these if you want, or whichever ones you want. There's also mega scans as well. Make sure you've got plenty of RAM and a nice fast computer for these, because they're big and they slow things down a lot. As well as free for the month permanent free collection. There's also a marketplace. So some sellers have some free stuff as well. So definitely worth checking out. All right. So the question is, so what I'm saying is, once you've got your free stuff, you may well get it, and you don't necessarily want all of it in your project, particularly if you're using some sort of source control. Some of these are very, very big. They can be multiple gigabytes. You don't want to have to add that to your source control. You might just say want one car or something. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So if we come into here, and I do need to remember where this is. So first of all, you need to check where my project actually is. That's a good question. You can't do a save project as. No, tell you what, let's go into here. go to my library. Pretty sure I can find it this way. So the tutorials here, there's the path there. So F, UE projects, tutorials 1, tutorial 1, tutorial 1, U project. Yeah, so that's where it is. So if I want to take that door, what I can do, I come into the level where it is, select it, right click in the outliner here, and it allows me to browse to the asset like so. And so we've got the door here, no problem. Well, let's actually, before we do this, let's just open it up. So double click on that and have a look at it. So it's not too complicated, which is nice. If we look in the components here, we have a door frame. Okay, so that's just a pretty simple asset. Many of you, I'm sure, could make much more interesting door frames there. And then we've got another door as well. And again, this is not complicated stuff. This is pretty straightforward. Construction, nothing happening. Oops, nothing happening in our construction script, so that's fine. You'll see we've got a couple of these here. We'll talk about these in a moment. And we've got this of the event graph, and it's at the moment just being driven by my overlap trigger. And then it's doing a whole lot of stuff here. It's doing some strange math stuff down here. And then it's doing this thing, which is what we call a timeline. I'll talk about those in a couple of minutes. And then we're doing some fancy stuff here and setting the relative rotation of my door component, which is right here. So this is how we swing the door open. And then sequence of closing the door, we have a similar thing. It's much more simple here, but you can see swing closed, swing open, and that's running the code to do that. So first things first, let's go and grab this, go to my content drawer. If I right click here, now this is a question that comes up all the time. This is why I really want to do it here. So if I right click here, how do I transfer this to the project I've been working on? Well, all I need to do, and this works for any blueprints or really any assets that you've created that you have in you. So if you've been working on one project and you think, oh, I developed that in there, I really want to use that asset in this project I'm working on now, you can just come in and do that as well. So go to Asset Actions, and then we come down to not export, okay? Export will actually take your assets and save them onto your hard drive as best it can. You can do it with things like textures and static meshes. Blueprints may not work quite so well. So we don't want to export. What we want to do, we want to migrate it to another project. Okay, so copies all selected assets and the dependencies to another project. So let's select migrate. And it's saying here, okay, so what are we migrating? This is telling us what we're grabbing. We are going to migrate the door. Okay, so that's the door that's here. That's the static mesh. A material called shiny plastic. I'm okay with that. The door and the door frame. Sorry, that's the BP door. It's also the door and the door frame static meshes there as well. It's going to global as well, and it's getting some materials. So it's getting a demo wall Insta2, and M light sculpture. Now global materials, I'm guessing, are probably already in all projects, because the globals, we tend not to have access to that necessarily, but it's obviously just using those. So we could say, look, don't do those for me, and I might do that. We just want the stuff that's in the example content here. So I'm going to click OK. And now we need to go and find our project, which is tutorials here, tutorial 1. And what we need to do, it's kind of important, it's a little finicky in the way in what it wants. You need to click on the content directory. Otherwise it's not going to work. So once we've selected the content directory, actually let's just go into that and have a look, because we will see, you can see my content is under there, collections, developers, first person arms. Okay, so starter content under there. So that's where all our content is. It's under content. So we need to select that top level content folder. Select that folder. Down the bottom it gets here, content migrated successfully. we can show the message log, and it tells me the door frame, static mesh door, and the shiny plastic material were all migrated successfully. So now, if we go into our other project and go to our content drawer, we should be able to find, so it's going to be in the same folders as the initial one. So it recreates the whole folder structure under content. So we've got example content, blueprints, and there's our door. Fantastic. So we should now just be able to drag and drop this into here. And okay, oh no, it's preferring the shaders. Okay, so down the bottom here you can see we're actually doing our shaders, and looks like we lost one material, but I'm not too bothered about that, because really these materials aren't that great anyway. So let's just let's actually just run this and see if it works. And oh, there it is over there. Okay, so let's just first of all, bang, opens up, we can go through, bang, opens up, goes through. Okay, so there you go. So there's the content examples, which I definitely recommend anyone who's doing anything with Unreal gets a copy of that and spend time looking through it. Just go through and have a look at all the different stuff in there, particularly the stuff that you're particularly interested in. We've done that. We went and grabbed the door from there, and we've migrated that door to the level that we're working on. So I'm going to pause again here. We'll come back, and we're going to look at the door in some more detail and see how it actually works.